Hi friends, I'm Parvez, and in this video I'm going to show you that how you can build 5 simple Python projects using ChatGPT. Particularly in this lessons in these projects we will use PyQt6. Now PyQt6 is a Python GUI development library, and we will use this. Okay, and there will be different simple projects that we want to create. We are going to create text-to-speech using Python. We're going to create a media player, and also we're going to create a web browser, and also we're going to create a simple calendar. Now there will be 5 projects, simple projects that we will create, and you can see that about ChatGPT, and we are going to use ChatGPT, and it's optimizing language models for dialogue. You can see that we have trained a model called ChatGPT which interacts in a conversational way. The dialog format makes it possible for ChatGPT to answer follow-up questions, admit its mistakes. Now you will see that there are sometimes there's some mistakes from the ChatGPT in the coding, and after that we can tell that, for example, that there's a mistake. You need to just make it like this, and challenge incorrect premises and reject inappropriate requests. ChatGPT is sibling model to Instruct GPT, which is trained to follow an instruction in a prompt and provide a detailed response. So now we will use PyQt, Python, and also ChatGPT for creating of our 5 simple projects with Python. Okay, so you can just create your account. You can just try ChatGPT, and this is the ChatGPT. Now first of all in here, so we can just try it, and these are the examples. I'm going to first let me just say that for example, I can just say what is PyQt6. Okay, so first let's just get information about this, because we are using this library. So it is a set of Python bindings for the Qt libraries. It allows you to use Qt libraries to create graphical user interface and other software for desktop and mobile devices. And PyQt6 is a port of PyQt5 for Python 3 and Qt6. It's a multi-platform toolkit that can be used on Windows, macOS, and Linux. So this was information about PyQt. Now let's just say that how we can install that. How we can install. So you can see that you can install PyQt6 using the pip package manager. The package name is PyQt6. You can install it by running the following command in your command prompt terminal. So you can just use it like this. You can also install it by running this command. And before installing, make sure that you have installed Python and pip in your system. So you should have Python because it's a Python library. If you're using Anaconda, then you need to install PyQt6 using this command. Okay, and please note that if you're using Windows, you will also need to install the appropriate version of the Qt libraries for your system. There's no problem. We're using Windows, and we can just use it from here. Okay, so we can just copy this, and after that in here I'm using PyCharm ID, and I already have created a project, so you can just go to the new project, and from here you can give the name of the project. I'm using Python 3.9. Okay, so now let's just install it. I already have installed it, and you'll see that we are using the latest version of PyQt, that is 6.4, and you can see that requirement already satisfied because I already have installed it. Okay, so now we have some information about PyQt, and also we have installed it. Now let's create our first GUI window using PyQt. Okay, so let me just say create first GUI window in PyQt, or we can say create simple GUI window, GUI window in PyQt. So now it's creating the simple example for us, and you can see that it is importing the required libraries, and this is our Q application, and now this is the simple code. Okay, so let me just copy this, and you can see this code creates a new Q application and a Q main window. The application is necessary for any PyQt6 application, the Q application, and provides the main event loop. The main window is a top level window that can have a menu bar, toolbars, and a status bar. And in here you can see that we have the show. Now the show method is used to display the window on the screen, and the execute method starts the event loop and waits for the user to close the window. Okay, and also it's telling that you can also widgets to your window, such as button, labels, and text field by creating them. Okay, so we will talk about this. And now you can see that it has a detailed information about this. Now let me just paste it in here, and now in here if I run this, you will see that I am receiving an error, you can see that the application object has no attribute execute, and that's because this execute is from PyQt5, and in PyQt6 we need to just use the execute like this. Okay, and now if I just run this, and now you can see that we have our first GUI window using Python PyQt, and also it's created by ChatGPT. Okay, so now I'm going to tell so also it's telling that you can add, for example, push buttons. So first we need to import that. For example, we want to add a push button widget, and in here we need to just import that, and here you can see that it's importing Q application, Q main window, and we have Q push button from the Qt widgets module. And after that we can just copy this code and we can just paste it in here, and if I just run this, okay, so now you can see that we have our click me button here. So now let me just tell to ChatGPT that create this code using the object-oriented programming, okay, that we will have class. Okay, so let me just say create the above window using object-oriented programming. Okay, so you can see, sure, here is an example of how to create a simple GUI window using object-oriented programming. So now it's creating our class main window that extends from the Q main window, and let's just wait. It's creating the button for us, and it's moving the button. So right now you can see that it's not using any layout, but we can tell to, for example, to ChatGPT to use a layout. So now the window is created. So this code creates a new class called main window that inherits from the Q main window, and the constructor of the class will create a button, set its properties such as label, size, and position. We also set the properties of the main window such as the title and size. So you can see that it acts as an instructor for us. We can see that it's a Python instructor. So I'm going to just copy this, and after that let me just copy and paste this code in here, and we need to just remove this from here. And you can see that we have our imports in here, Q application, Q main window, and Q push button. This is the class main window that extends from the Q main window, and this is our init and also super, so it's creating a button, and also this is our window title, and it's resizing the window. So now if I just run this, so this is our Q application, this is our main window, and in here we are showing the window. So let's just run it, and now you can see that we have our window. But right now if you see, we don't have any label, any layout. So right now you can see it's using move. You can use move, but it's not a good idea. So let's just tell this to ChatGPT in here in the code. So you have used move for the Q push button. Add some layout to my code. Okay, how to add a layout to the previous code and use it to position the button. So you can see that it's using HBox layout now. So now let's just copy the new code. Now it's using HBox layout for us, and let's just paste it in here, and we are going to use remove this execute. So we have our imports, and the important import is QHBox layout. So this is our push button. After that, it has created the HBox layout, and it has added the button to the HBox layout, and at the end it has set the main window layout to the HBox layout. And now if I just run this, you can see that we have the same button, but now we have an HBox layout. Now let's just tell to ChatGPT that if ChatGPT create as for example a label, for when I click on the button, the label text should be changed. So let me just tell that. Add a label, add a Q label in the code, the code, and also connect a clicked signal for the push button, for the Q push button. By clicking of the button, I want to change the label text. Okay, so now it's creating another code for us, and it's connecting to the clicked signal. Now let's just wait. So you can see that now we have a slot of on button clicked, it's changing the text, okay? And also in the button we should have, you can see that in the button we have the clicked signal that's connected with the button clicked on button clicked, okay? So I'm going to just copy this code, and also it's giving the instruction. In this example, I have added a Q label and set its text to hello world. I have also added a new method called on button clicked, which gets called when the button is clicked. This method sets the text of the label to button clicked. I have also connected the clicked signal of the button on the on button clicked method using the connect method. I have also added the label to the layout so that it is displayed next to the button. You can see that how easily ChatGPT created the complete code for us, and we have just given the instruction. So now if I just add this code, the new code, let me remove this, and now you can see that now we have a label, and here we have the button, and that the clicked signal is connected with the on button clicked method or slot that we have. And here it's just changing, setting the text of the label to button clicked, okay? And now in here we have the button in the layout, we have the label in the layout, and it has set the main window layout to the edge box layout or horizontal box layout. So let's just run it, and now I think now the layout is not looking good. Set window title and hello world, and I think we don't need the self in here, so because we are adding that to the, let's just remove this self from here and let's just run it again. Okay, but now we don't have the class main window self.set layout, and so let's add self in here, but the layout is messy. Okay, let me just tell this to ChatGPT that in this code, the layout, the label and the push button is on top of each other. The layout is missing, is not working. You're correct, the layout is not working as expected in the code. I added the button and the label to the layout, but I did not set the layout alignment for the widget. That's why they are on top of each other. So here's updated code that I will fix this issue, So let's check that ChatGPT can fix this issue for us or not. So it's creating the label, it's creating the layout. Okay, so now we are done. Let's just copy the code and let's just paste the new code, okay? And we will see an error in here, and that's because the first we need to just import Qt core. So from pyqt6.qt core import Qt, or we can just import let's check that what is so from pyqt6.qt core we are going to import Qt. We want to just bring some change to the code. There is no problem, but it should be like this. Okay, so for example, qt.line_left Qt. Now you will see that we have an error in here, and that's because we are using pyqt6 and we need to just add alignment flag. Okay, and we can just add alignment flag dot align right. Okay, and now if I just run this again, we have that's on top of each other. And if I just comment this resize, now so self dot label, we have the label and we have the edge box layout dot out which is self dot button, self dot label, and self dot set layout to the edge box layout. So it's not working. Let's tell this to ChatGPT again. Okay, let me just say it's not working. The label is above the button. It's saying that the layout's not being set to the layout of the main window, but that's set. Let's just wait some. Okay, so now self dot window title. Let's just wait. Sorry, incomplete response. Okay, I think I have internet connection problem. Let me copy this. There was an error generating response. Let me just check that. Okay, now it has created the code for us, and you can see that in this version of the code I added a new QWidget object as the central widget of the main window and set the layout to that widget. Now let's check that this time the problem is fixed or not. Let me just paste the new code and let me remove this, and let me just say from Qt core import Qt, and I can just say alignment flag dot and let's import the QWidget. Now it's the new code, and I can just add that in here, and now let's just run it. Okay, now this is correct code. Now it has fixed the code for us. If I click on this, button is clicked and this is working. And in this video I'm going to show you that how you can build a simple web browser using ChatGPT, Python, and also pyqt6. So right now you will know about ChatGPT, and so in here this is my account, and I'm going to just in here I can just write that build a simple browser with Python and pyqt6. Okay, as you know that pyqt is a GUI library for Python programming language that you can create graphical user interface applications. So you can see, to build a simple browser with Python and pyqt6 you can use web engine view class, which is provided by PyQt6. And here's an example of basic browser implementation. And there's a simple code for that. I will describe this code, but for right now, let's just wait that it's writing the code for us, and it is writing the code for building of a simple web browser, GUI web browser in Python programming language. Okay, so you can see that we don't need to write any code in here. ChatGPT make it easy, and you can see so it's creating a complete web browser for us. So you can see that it's creating the view box layout for us, or vertical box layout. And I will describe this code, but for right now, let's just wait that it's doing, it's creating for us. Okay, so now this code creates a simple browser window that has a Q web engine view for displaying web pages, a Q line edit for entering URLs, and several Q push buttons for navigating between pages. The browser starts by loading the Google homepage and allows the user to navigate to other pages by entering URLs into address bar or clicking the Go button. Okay, so the back and forward buttons allow the user to navigate to previously visited pages. You will need to have PyQt6 and PyQt Web Engine installed to run this code. So now let's copy this code, and let's just copy the code, and so right now you can see that I already have created a project at the name of ChatGPT tutorial in my PyCharm ID, and right click, I want to just create a new Python file, and let me just call it simple browser. And in here, I'm going to paste the code in here. And if you see in here, we need, according to the ChatGPT, to run this code, we should have PyQt6 and also PyQt Web Engine. Now, by default, we don't have PyQt Web Engine inside PyQt6. Now, first, we need to just install this. So let me just copy this, and I'm going to just paste that in here. And I'm using a virtual environment. And let's just wait for the installation. All right, now PyQt6 has been installed, the latest version of PyQt, that's PyQt 6.4. Now what we need to install, PyQt Web Engine. Okay, so according to the ChatGPT, so PyQt 6 Web Engine, and we can just copy this, and in here I can just paste it, and let's just wait for this installation. After the installation, I will talk about these libraries. Okay, so now the PyQt6 Web Engine has been also installed, and now we have the required libraries for building of our web browser. Now we don't have any error. Now let me just describe this code. At the top, if you see, it's importing sys, and from PyQt6 .qt core module, it's importing QURL, and from the Qt Web Engine widgets, it's importing Q Web Engine view and also Q Web Engine page. And also in here, if you see, okay, so now I think so I think we don't need this Q Web Engine page, so let me just remove this. And now in here you can see that it's creating a class browser that's extending from the Q widget module, and we have our init and also super, and here it's setting the window title, and in here it's creating the web engine view. Now by default, it's loading the google.com using the web.load QURL, and after that it's creating a Q line edit for us. Okay, so for example, if we want to add our own address, for example facebook.com or google.com, then we can add that in the line edit. Okay, and also there is a signal that's called returnPress.connect. Now what it means, for example, when we write something, for example in the line edit, or in the for example www.google.com, and if we hit enter, then it will open that for us. Okay, now that's because we have a return pressed signal that's attached to this Q line edit. After that, we have some push buttons, for example Q push button go, and Also, we have a clicked signal that is connected with the load page. It's loading page. So we will talk about this method. And we have a back button, and it is connected to the web view back slot. We have clicked signal, and also it has a forward button, and it is connected to the web view dot forward. Now this back and forward, it is already we don't need to create this because it is in our web view, the back, forward, and also we will have refresh. Okay, so in here we don't have that. And in here it's creating the layout, two layout. We have a VBox layout. Now it will be our main layout. After that we have an edge box layout. Now inside the edge box layout or horizontal box layout, it's adding the buttons, the 4 buttons, the 3 button with the address bar, and also it's after that it's adding you can see that self.layout.add layout. After that it's adding this edge box layout to this VBox layout, and at the end it is setting this VBox layout to the main window. And this is the load page that in here it's first it's getting the text from the address bar or from the line edit that we have in here. So from here first it's getting that, and after that if there's not HTTP, it's connecting the HTTPs with that, and after that it's loading that. And here we are just creating our application, we are instantiating our browser, we want to show our browser. Now in here, if I just run this, let me just run this, and okay, so you can see that it's telling that Q application object has no attribute execute. Now this execute is related to PyQt5. And if you're using PyQt5, then it's working, there's no problem. If you're using PyQt6, then you need to remove this. Okay, now in PyQt6 that's deprecated and we can use it like this. Now let's just run it. So now you can see that by default it has opened the Google for us. Okay, and now I can just add www.facebook.com, and if I hit enter, also you can see I can, okay, now this enter is this return press signal that we have in here. Okay, so return press. If we don't have this, then it will not work. And now we can see that we have Facebook. I can just go back. Now it's Google. I can just forward. It will go back to the facebook.com, and I can just go back. Also, this is also working. Okay, so for example, if I click on go, you will see that it is the facebook.com, and also the enter is working because in here we are using return press signal, and for those we are using click signal. You can see that how easily we have created our code using ChatGPT, and you can see that using this we have created our simple web browser. After that we have installed the libraries that we need, also it's mentioning, and this is our simple browser, and we have done this. So please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also share the video. And also you can see that in here imports, I have forgot to say, it's importing from Qt widgets, Q application, VBox layout, HBox layout, line edit, Q push button, and Q widget. In this video, I'm going to show you that how you can build a simple media player using Python, PyQt6, and also ChatGPT. Now let's write our instruction for creating of the media player in Python. So I'm going to just say create simple media player with Python and PyQt6. So now you can see that to create a simple media player with Python and PyQt6, you can use the QMediaPlayer class from the PyQt multimedia module. Here's an example that how to create a basic media player. We'll play, pause, and stop buttons. Okay, so now let's just wait. And you can see that it's importing the required libraries, and also we have class media player, and let's just wait. It's creating the push button. We will talk about the codes line by line, but for right now let's just wait that what it's building. Maybe there will be some errors and mistakes, and let's just wait because it's conflicting PyQt5 with PyQt6. Okay, so let's just wait for the completing of the codes. So we have play, we have we have pause, it's for pausing, we have a stop, and now the application is created. Okay, So now it's telling in this example the media player uses this path file, and we need to change that. You will need to replace this with the actual path of your media file. So I'm going to just copy the code, and after that I can just create a new Python file. Let me just call it media player demo. And also you need to just install PyQt6. You can just say pip install if you haven't installed, and it will be installed. I already have installed it. Okay, so I'm going to just copy the code in here. Let me copy and paste the code. So now we have the code, but you can see that we have some errors. The first one is that in PyQt6 we don't have QMedia content. This is in PyQt5. We can just remove that. And if you see in here, so you can see that now instead of set media in PyQt6 we need to use set source. Okay, set source, and we don't need the QMedia content. We can just directly use that. And here we need to give a video name. So I have vid.mp4. I have already copied in my working directory, so I can just say vid.mp4. And so we have play pause button. Let me just remove this. And now if I just run this, we will see this. Okay, but if I just click on play, you can see that it's not working. And the problem is this, that we don't have any video container for our application. Now let's just tell this to ChatGPT, and let me just say this code is not playing video because we don't have video container. Also add a slider for the volume and all for the volume for us. Okay, so you can just tell the instruction. Okay, you can see that you're correct, that this code only playing audio because it doesn't include any video container. To play a video, you'll need to add a QVideo widget to the layout and set as the video output for the media player. So now it's creating a new code for us, and let's just wait. So let me pause the video. It will create the code, and after that I will be back. So you can see that it's creating the widgets. Even it has created the volume slider, and also it has created the video widget in here. Okay, so now it's creating the play, pause, and stop buttons, and also it's setting the volume. Okay, so now it's completed. So you can see in this example the media player uses this, so there is no problem. We can just copy this code, and now we need to just paste the new code. Okay, so now we need to bring some changes. We are going to remove the media content, and here we have our class media player that extends from the widget, and here we have created the media player. So you can see that in here it's creating the video widget, and it's setting the video widget to the media player. So self.player.set video output to the video widget. And these are the buttons. We have a play push button, we have a pause push button. Now they are connected with the play, pause, and stop slots. Okay, so for pause, and we have a stop. Okay, so it will be created in here. So we have play, pause, and stop. They are already connected in here. And this is the slider. And here you can see that it's giving an error because we need to import Qt. I think ChatGPT forgotten to add this. And also because we are using PyQt6, we need to just use the enum. So the enum type orientation dot horizontal. Okay, if you're using PyQt5, then there is no problem, it will work. And also this is the volume changed for the slider. So this is the volume slider, and this is the set volume, and we have set volume in here. Now it will not work for the volume, I will tell that. And there's no problem with the layout. We have VBox layout. After that we are adding the video widget to VBox layout. It's adding. We have the edgebox layout, and we need to add the buttons inside the edgebox layout. So you can see play button, pause button, stop button, and volume slider. And after that also we need to add this button layout, this buttons layout to this our VBox layout. Okay, because this will be our main layout. Okay, so now layout dot add layout, and we want to add our buttons layout, our edgebox layout with the 4 buttons to the VBox layout. Now our VBox layout will have a widget, a video widget, and also these 4 buttons. and at the end we are setting the layout. Okay, so now in here we cannot use the media content and the PyQt6, and instead of set media we need to use set source, and we need to just remove this. And also in here I have a video, so vid.mp4. I already have copied the video in here in my working directory, and in here I'm playing that. This is for the pause, self.player.pause. Now these are built in the media player, and also we have a stop. Okay, now this is the volume. We have an error in here, it will not work. And in here we have our queue application, we have our media player, and it's showing the player, and this is our loop. So now let's just run this. I think we have an error. Okay, so we need to import the queue video widget, queue video. So queue video, okay, I think that is another module. So dot queue qt widget. I forgot, I think qt video widget. Let me check that what it was. Okay, that's qt multimedia widget. Okay, so qt multimedia widget, we are going to import queue video widget. So now I think we are done with that, so let's run it. Again we have an error, cannot import name queue video widget. Okay, so I think it has by default ChatGPT imported the queue video widget from the Qt widgets, and that's not the case. You can see that that's not the case. That is related to another module. Let's just run it. Maybe in PyQt5 that will be the you can use it like that. So if I click on play, so again it's not working, the volume is also not working. That's not a problem. Let's check the video widget. So we have the video widget and self.player.set video output, and we are setting that to the video widget, and also we are adding that to the layout. And why we are not seeing that video widget in here? There should be a video widget. Okay, yeah, we have that in here. So this is the video widget, the black color. Let's play. Yeah, it's working. But right now the sound is not working, and that's because I already have mentioned that it's ChatGPT is using PyQt5 code, and in PyQt5 the sound or the audio was inside the Qt multimedia. But in PyQt6 now we have a separate module. And now what I need to just import the Q audio output in here. So Q from multimedia, and after that in here we need to create that cell.audio Q audio output, and we need to set that to the media player. And in here I can just say not select but cell.player.set audio output to the self.audio. Okay, and also at the bottom in here, instead of player we need to just use the audio. Okay, like this. So now this will work. So now you can see that we have our video widget. If I click on play,
hi friends, I'm Parvez, and in this video I want to show
you can see that it's working.
Using Python, PyQt6.
I can pause, I can play it back.
Hi friends, I'm Parvez, and in this video I want to show you that how you can with your application using PyQt6 and also ChatGPT. Now we're going to give instruction for the ChatGPT to create a video application for us.
You can see that now our media player is created using ChatGPT and also Python.
Here I'm going to just try.
Also I can stop that. In this video I want to show you that how you can build a video application using Python, PyQt6 and also ChatGPT. Now we're going to give instruction for the ChatGPT to create a video application for us using Python and also by PyQt6. After that we'll talk about the codes. So now in here I'm going to just write build simple video application with Python and PyQt6. Okay, so now let's just wait, and it's creating. So here's an example of simple video application built using Python and PyQt6, so let's just wait. So we will talk about the code. Now it's using PyQt6 for the GUI or graphical user interface application. Also it's using requests for the fetching the data. So let's just wait. It's creating a button. We'll talk about the code. So first we need to just wait for the creating. Okay, you can see that it's using the open with map, and you need an API key from that. We'll create the API key. So right now let's just wait for this. Alright, now the application is created. You can see this code uses PyQt6 library to create a simple GUI with label, text box, and button. When the button is clicked, the getWeather function is called, which retrieves weather data for the city entered in the text box using the OpenWeatherMap API and displays the temperature and humidity on the label. So please note that you will need to sign up for a free API key from OpenWeatherMap and replace your API key in the code, okay, that you receive. So now I'm going to just copy this code. So I'm going to just copy the code, and right now this is my PyCharm ID. Let me just create another Python file, and let me just call it weather. So simple weather app, okay. And let me paste the code in here. Now you need to bring some changes. Now the first thing that we don't need the Qt GUI and Qt core. We need just the Qt widgets. We are going to remove the unnecessary imports. So you can see in here it's importing system. After that it's importing Qt widgets, and after that it's creating a class weather app that is extending from the QMain window. It will be a QMain window. So this is our init, and also this is our super function. And in here it's setting the window title to weather app, so set window title, and also in here it's setting the geometry. Okay, so this is the X and Y position, the width and height of the window. Okay, after that it's creating a label for us using qtwidgets.label, and in the label it's giving a text that enters city. After that it is now in here it's not using the label, the layout like HBox or VBox layout. It is directly moving the label to X and Y position, 50X and 50Y. After that it's creating a text box, or we can say a Q line edit, and it's moving that to the X and Y position, 150 and also 50. And after that it's creating a push button. It's a get weather. And this is the signal, and it will be a clicked signal. For example, if the user, if I just run this, so right now it will not work. That's because we need to just remove this, because that execute is deprecated and PyQt6 use this execute. Okay, so now for example, if I just run this, and you can see that it is the code, even though it's not looking good because it's using it, it's not using the layout management, but you can use the layout management. So right now you can see that it's entering a CT, and let's just tell to ChatGPT that there is no layout management. And if I just open this, and if I just say there is no layout in the code for the widgets, yeah, you can see it's telling that the move method, which is not the most efficient way of laying out widgets, and the more efficient way is to use the layout managers. And here's an example that how you can use the layout managers to position the widgets in the weather application. Okay, so we want to use this because it's working, there's no problem, but it's not a good idea to use, for example, to move the widgets. And for example, if I just make it smaller, and you can see it's not looking good. And instead of that, if you have watched my tutorials on PyQt, we have different widgets like VBox layout, HBox layout, that we can use that. Okay, so now let's just wait. It's creating the new code for us, and this time you can see that it's using the layout. Okay, and let's just wait. Now the code is completed. Okay, now you can see that in this example I used VBox layout to create a vertical layout. that stacks the widgets on top of each other. I added the label, text box, the button to the layout. So now I'm going to just copy this new code and let me just paste it in here. Okay, so now if you see, we have the same imports and we don't need the core and Qt core and Qt GUI. We have class reader app. This is the label, but in here we have, you can see that we have a vertical box layout, and after that it's creating the label, the text box, and also the button, and also it's connecting the button with the get reader slot. So this is the signal, and now this is the method that we are going to get the reader information in here. So if you see the get reader, and here you can see that we are getting the information, and we are retrieving the information from the open reader map. Okay, so now it's connecting that with the button. For example, if I just let me just remove this execute because it will not work. Now if I just run this, okay, so now you can see it's looking good and we have a nice layout for this. So you can see, for example, if the user enters a city and if he hit get reader, then it will call the clicked signal, and the clicked signal will be connected to this get reader slot or method that we have. Okay, so now this is the place that we are adding all the widgets to the layout. So you can see we have label, text box, and button. We need to add those to the vertical box layout that we have created. Okay, so we are using layout.addWidget, layout.addWidget for the label, for the text box, and for the button. Okay, and this is a central widget for the main window, that it's creating a central widget, and it's aligning all the widgets because all the widgets are inside the layout, and it's setting the main window layout to that vertical box layout. Okay, and after that you can see that this is the get reader method. So, and here the first, it's getting the city, or we can say the user text from the text box. So if I run this, you can see that we have a text box. Now, for example, if I write something, first we need to get this text from here, and we can use .text to get that, and it's saving in the city variable. After doing that, we need the API key. Okay, so you need to go to the open reader map, and you need to create a free account, and you can get the free API key from here. So I already have an API key, and so you can see that it is open reader map, and you can just go to the API keys, and I'm going to just copy this API key, and I want to just paste that in here. Okay, and you don't need to bring any change. So this is the URL, and it's using 2.5, and it's searching according to the city, and this is our API key, and this is the requests. Now make sure that you already have installed request library because it's using requests, and you can just use pip install requests. I already have installed, and it will be installed. Okay, and now it's showing, for example, the weather, the main, and also the temperature, the humidity, and after that it's setting the information like temp and also humidity to the label. So cell.label.setText, and it's setting those informations. Okay, and after that we have our main application. We have, and here it's instantiating the weather application, it's showing that, and this is our loop. Okay, so now, for example, if I just run this, okay, so now enter a city name. So if I, for example, enter New York, and if I just click on get reader, so you can see that this is the temperature, so temperature and humidity. And for example, you can just change the font size for this label. So let me just show you. For example, I can just say cell.label.setFont, and I can just use Q font. Now we need to import the Q font. We can bring some changes to the code. So I can just say from pyqt6.qt GUI, we are going to import Q font, and in here, so I can just say Q font. You need to just give the type of the font, for example, Times, and this should be 20. Okay, and now let's just run this again. For example, if I say New York, get weather. So let's just wait. Okay, so you can see that this is the weather, temperature, and the humidity. If I just say, for example, Chicago, and get weather, and you can see that we have the information. So like this, you can build a weather application using ChatGPT. You can see that the code is created by ChatGPT, and we have just brought some changes, and that's working. Okay, so thank you guys. If you have any question, please let me know, and for the further videos, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also share the video. In this video, I'm going to show you that how you can build a simple text-to-speech application using Python, PyQt6, and also ChatGPT. So now let's just give our instruction to the ChatGPT for creating of this application. So I'm going to just say create a text-to-speech application with Python, PyQt6, GTTS, and multimedia. Okay, so after that, and also I'm going to just say show me the complete code. Okay, so hit enter. So now let's just wait, and it's creating the code. So you can see here's an example and the multimedia module. So for this, we need two libraries. We need to install PyQt6 and also we need to install GTTS. Okay. So now it's importing the libraries. It's also using Pygame, and it's a game library. I don't know why it has imported in here, but we will check that what will be the functionality of Pygame in this code. And let's just wait. So right now we can see that it has created the code, but if you see in here, it's using Mixer or Pygame Mixer for so it's using TTTS for saving, and after that I want to just play that, load that, for example, the recorded audio, and it's using Mixer as according to instruction. I have told that use multimedia module. Now let me just tell this I want to load the recorded speech using Q multimedia. Show me the complete code for that. Okay, so now it's creating new code for us. Even though it's working and there's no problem, but I don't want to use Pygame. I want to use the multimedia with the GTTS, and let's just wait. So now we can see that it's using multimedia. So let's wait. Okay, now it's using media to play that. So now the code is completed. This code will convert the entire text to speech using GTTS and save the speech in an MP3 file. Then it plays the speech using the QMedia player. The speech file will be deleted after the player is finished playing. So you would need to install PyQt6 and GTTS module to run this code. Also, you need to make sure that the system have Qt multimedia supported codecs. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this code, and after that in here I want to create another Python file, and let me just call it text to speech demo, and I can just paste this code in here, but we need to bring some changes. The first one, that it has forgot to import sys for us. Maybe sometime there will be problems, so import sys. Also, we don't need the media content, and we can just remove that from here. We have the media player that's imported, and also you need to install PyQt6. You can just say, for example, pip install PyQt6. I already have installed it and there is no problem. I'm using the latest version. Also, you need to install GTTS. Okay, also I have already installed it and requirement already satisfied. So these are the two libraries that we need. After that, we are importing the Q application, Q line edit, Q push button, Q VBox layout, Q widget, and it has imported OS. We need the sys. So this is the class text to speech. It's extending from the Q widget, and this is our init UI. It's setting the window title, it's setting the geometry, the X and Y position, and also the width and height of the window. Also, it's creating a line edit in here, and it's setting the placeholder for the line edit that enter the text here. Also, we have a button in here, speak button. And in here we are connecting the speak method with the push button that we have using the clicked signal. So this is the speak. So in here we are creating the text. So we are getting the text from the line edit using the dot text. And after that we are creating our GTTS, and we want to just pass the text in here because we want to convert that text to speech. And this is the language is English, and after that also we want to save that at name of speech.mp3. Now in here we have an error, and that's because in so this code is basically for PyQt5, and the media content is, we can use this Q media content in PyQt5. But in PyQt6 we need to bring some changes to the code. Okay, now the first one is that in here, instead of this, we need to just use set source. Okay, instead of set media we want to just use set source, and I think we can use Q media content. Okay, also we cannot use the Q media content in here because this Q media content is from PyQt5, and then instead of that, we in PyQt6 we can directly use. Okay, so we can just remove this Q media content, and we can just use set source QURL dot from local file and speech.mp3. And also in here we need to remove this. Okay, right now if I just run this, so let me just run this, and if I write something in here, and I can just say hello world, speak, and if I check here, you can see that we have a speech.mp3, but it's not speaking, and we are not seeing the speech in here. Okay, so it's saved and there's no problem, it will work, but we have used the media player to play that recorded audio for us. Okay, but in here it's not working. So now if I just go here in the speech.mp3, and if I just open an explorer, and if I check this, okay, so if I just play this,
hello world,
you can see that it is working. But in here we want to play that sound using the QMedia player. Now if you're using PyQt5 then it will work, but in PyQt6, as I've already mentioned, that there's some changes. For example, now in the alongside with the Qt multimedia we need to use Q audio. Now in PyQt5 there's no need, you can directly use the Qt multimedia for playing video and also audio, but in PyQt6 we need to just import the audio. So in here I can just say Q audio output, and after that we need to just create that. Okay, so now we can just create that in here. So in here I can just say self.audio and Q audio output, and after that we need to set that to the player. So I can just say self.player.set audio output, set audio output to the self.audio audio. Also we can just set the volume, self.audio.set volume to 100. Okay, and now if I just run this it will work. Okay, so let me just say please subscribe to my channel.
Please subscribe to my channel.
Okay, now first it will save that at the name of speech.mp3, and after that it play that. Okay, so speak. Okay, it's exited. Let me just run it again. ChatGPT tutorial.
ChatGPT tutorial.
Now it is working. In this video I want to show you that how you can build a simple calendar using Python, PyQt6 and ChatGPT. So we will use QCalendar widget from PyQt6, and we tell this to ChatGPT to create a calendar with a QCalendar widget. So now I'm going to just write in here, create a calendar with Python, PyQt6, and QCalendar widget. So now let's just wait, it's creating the So it has created the calendar, but we want it there should be object-oriented concept in here. So it's working, there is no problem. So let me just say that show me the code with okay, it's also it's telling that you can add this signal, and let me just say show me the code with object-oriented programming. So let's wait, it's okay. Now let's complete it. Let's just okay, now it's creating the calendar for us, and this time you can see that we have now a class calendar that extends from the Q main window. And let's wait. Okay, so now that's created. Let's just copy this and let's just go to the PyCharm, and in here I'm going to create another Python file, and let me just say calendar example. Let's just paste that, and so right now you can see that we have some imports in here, especially QCalendar widget that we have mentioned, and we have our class calendar that extends from the Q main window, and in here it's created the QCalendar widget, and after that this is the signal, the clicked signal for the calendar that is connected to onDateSelected, and it will print the date for us, and after that it is setting the calendar widget to the whole window, and then it's showing that. And in here it's just showing the date, the selected date from the calendar widget, and it's printing that. And this is our Q application, and we need to just remove this execute. It should be like this. So now we don't need this in here, it's imported, but let's just run this. Okay, so now you can see that we have calendar. If I choose a date, you can see it's showing selected date. If I choose another one, and if I choose another one, if I choose another one, you can see that easily we have our calendar, and that's created with ChatGPT.